This was a very different Liverpool to the one government ministers had previously seen. Perhaps this was the canny reason they chose Liverpool today, a city with a good news story in these bad news dominated days. Jane Barrett, North West Tonight.
Well, earlier, as he came out of that cabinet meeting, I asked the Culture Minister Andy Burnham whether having the meeting in the North West was, as critics claim, a gimmick.
Well, not at all, Gordon, and if they could have spoken to some of the people who were there at our session this morning, I think people found it very interesting, really worthwhile. I mean, this really is an historic day for Liverpool and its proud 800-year history, the first meeting of the British Cabinet here. And why shouldn't the Cabinet of all of this country go round and listen to all of this country? And that's what we've been doing here today.
But is it the right time in this economic crisis to be seen all coming up here and all the cost involved?
Well, of course, there is a cost, but it's important at a time like this that the government hears the voices of people right around the country and hears the different perspectives from different regions. And here in our region, you know, we've got a lot of success to celebrate, but at the same time there are very real issues, very real pressures that we're facing that are particular to us, the North West economies.
Well, one positive thing you can do obviously is to help the car industry, because we've got a very much a struggling industry on Merseyside with Jaguar and Vauxhall. They want government support, the government keep reassuring them, but have you invested any money in it yet?
Those obviously are matters for the Chancellor and also for the Business Secretary Peter Mandelson, and I think they have made statements today. The car industry is of course crucially important to our region, because it's not just the direct jobs, it's all of the knock-on jobs that come from the manufacturing base. So these are crucially important matters, Gordon. You are quite right to identify them as such. But having been here, having been engaging with people across the region, I think you can be assured that people will be going away from Liverpool this evening with a very, very clear picture of what needs to be done.
I mean, that doesn't actually tell them, though, anything, does it? It doesn't tell them whether you are going to put money into the car industry or not.
Well, I think people would have to judge the government by our actions, and when you hear the Prime Minister and the Chancellor speaking over the next few days and weeks, to see whether or not you feel that the issues raised have made a difference.
Well, finally then, just so we get this clear, in a sentence, sum up how the North West has benefited positively today as a result of the Cabinet meeting being in Liverpool rather than in Downing Street, London.
I came here today and addressed the whole meeting with the Prime Minister, partly to congratulate Liverpool, to set the seal on an outstanding year where Liverpool has risen to a challenge and has done the country proud in the European spotlight. But secondly, we came here and we heard people who raised direct concerns on a whole range of issues with Cabinet Ministers. They'll go back now and take real action on what they've heard.
Secretary of State, thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, Gordon.
Elsewhere in the news tonight,